Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you how to systemise, automate and delegate the entire running of your trades or construction business, allowing you to win back your time. But before we go there, I'd just like to announce that for everybody that's been on our Inner Circle coaching programs waiting list, the doors are now open for you to apply to join our 12-month marketing and business coaching program. The link for you to find out more about the Inner Circle is in the show notes and the description of this episode. Now, let's transition over today's coaching episode. At the time of recording this episode, we are in mid-July, which means one thing. The summer holidays around the corner. The kids are about to break up for the 6 weeks holidays, and no doubt you'll be planning some downtime and some time off and maybe a holiday to recharge your batteries over the next 6 weeks. But in all honesty, this time of year that we should be looking forward to, years ago I used to actually secretly detest it. And here's the reason why. There is so much disruption going to happen over the course of this next couple of months that's going to possibly have a negative impact on your business. Let me explain. Going back to, 20 plus years ago when I was that busy full joiner, I knew that I promised my kids and my wife that we'd, spend a week or 2 weeks on holiday, and if I could muster the money together and afford a holiday abroad, even better. But I knew that this was the time of year where I had to start to spend quality time with my family. I mean, the kids are off for 6 weeks, so what are you going to do with them? 6 weeks of having kids at home is going to drive you insane, right? So it was always about, look, let me take a couple of weeks off holiday. Let's book a holiday abroad somewhere and let's take off as a family and go and enjoy the sun, enjoy the time together, be present, recharge those batteries and start to make them memories that are going to last a lifetime. And sometimes the financial pressure that you put yourself under, because one, me back in the day, I couldn't really afford to go on holiday. I weren't making that much money that I got a big lump sum of savings that I could just go and buy an holiday for. So what did I used to do? I knew I had to get away, so I'd put the holiday on a Visa card and then I'm paying it off for next 5, 6, 7 years, being whacked with interest. So now my cash flow's getting worse. I'm having to invest into things that I can't really afford. Number two, I know that I'm not going to be able to spend as much business time in the business over that period. I'm going to have time off. And when you have time off, who's paying your wages? Who's running the business for you when you're having time off? And when you're a small micro business or a one-person band, when you take time off at tools, nobody's paying you. You might be lucky enough in the fact that you've got a couple of members of staff or a team that can pick up the slack to allow you to go on holiday. But then what happens when you go on holiday? You know what's going to happen. And that is you're not going to get any peace from that flipping phone ringing with customers or with your team or with suppliers. You're sat there round the pool supposed to be having some quality time with your family, recharging and being present. But I remember back in the day, because I was the only one in my business, or as I started to grow my team, I had no systems, no automation, no nothing in place. So I was the business, I was the system. So I go on holiday for a week or 2 weeks dreading it because I knew that I was skint and I couldn't afford it, but I knew that I had to go. And I also knew that I'd be money down because I'm not on the tools, but I also knew that I'd be the one that you see and you can spot them for a mile off. I can tell the people who are self-employed or run their own businesses on holiday, because they seem to just walk round in circles or walk round the pool with the phone glued to their hand and their ear. And you're dealing with your team because your team haven't got the right systems in place to run to. You are the system. So you're babysitting your team. So every day you're getting phone calls, emails, text messages from your team. You're also getting them from your customers because you've got no system in place. You might have even got them from your suppliers or your merchants that are wanting to confirm materials in stock or chasing you up for unpaid invoices. Listen, you know how this goes. And back in the day, that was the classic busy fool me. In the fact that I'd go on holiday and I'd dread it. I would absolutely dread it. And there'd be many times where we'd come back off holiday. And my wife has said to me, do you know what? You spent more fucking time on that phone, walking round that pool, walking round in circles where everybody can hear your business because you're just walking round. You've hardly spent any time with me. You've spent no time with kids. It's been an absolute pain in arse this holiday. And then here's me thinking I'm doing the right thing, but then ending up with a 5, 6, 7, 8 grand Visa bill because I've had to put it on the Visa card and I couldn't even afford it. So now I'm worse off. And even worse than that, over years, I've paid deposits for holidays, and then closer to kids' holidays that it's got, I've realised I ain't got the money to pay for it. I daren't go away because it's fucking carnage when I go away. And when I come back, I'm coming back to a business where I've got customers that are upset, where I've got a team who've made mistakes, which is now costing me even more money. It's like a vicious cycle that you get caught in. Sound familiar? If it does, it's because your business is still too dependent on you. In other words, you're the only person in your entire business that knows how your business runs from top to bottom. And the likelihood is that you haven't got any systems or automations or pipelines that are automating this entire process and the communication between you and your team and your customers. None of that is existent. And on top of that, you're not delegating the running of these systems or the running of your business to somebody else. Because you might have tried this in the past and it not worked out, and now you think that bringing in a virtual PA or a part-time admin person's never going to work for you in your business. So what do? You decide to keep doing everything yourself. And when you do that, you haven't got a business. The definition of a business is a profitable enterprise that runs without you. So if you've got a business and you can't step away for it for a week or 2 weeks just to go on holiday and spend that quality time with your family that they deserve, and you do, if you can't go away for 2 weeks without having to answer your phone, send emails, text messages, WhatsApps, if you can't do that, you're a prisoner in your own business, and therefore you haven't got a business. You've just created yourself the world's toughest job. And none of this in today's day and age needs to happen, because with the systems and automations that we've now got in place and at our fingertips, for me, it's an absolute crime. It's a crime for any business owner to not have the right systems in place and then delegate these systems to other people. So your business starts to run without you. It frees up your time, so at least you can go on holiday for 2 weeks. Never mind, get your business running for you week in, week out. That frees up even more of your time, so you can invest that time into doing what you want to do because you're in control of it, rather than time controlling you. And having been through all this myself, but come out the other side, and having coached over 30,000 other trades business owners through this, here are some of the common scenarios that you might recognise yourself. Number 1, there's no clear process of handling enquiries, pricing jobs, and getting quotes out. So your customers insist on speaking to you directly. Number 2, your team that you've now left behind while you've gone on holiday, they don't have any written procedures or SOPs, standard operation procedures or checklists. So what do? They keep calling you, WhatsApping you. What should I do here? What should I do there? I don't understand this drawing. Customers ask me about this and what do I tell them? You're the only one who knows how to schedule jobs in and book jobs in or speak to suppliers about materials. So every order, every decision has to go through you. You've got a bunch of bits of pieces of information scattered all over the place. You've got information in your head. You've got information on emails and WhatsApps. You've got information written down on scraps of timber or back of a piece of plasterboard, and nobody else can make the sense of what's happening. So they have to keep bothering and badgering you. And because of all this, even though you physically leave your business when you go on holiday, you never mentally or emotionally switch off. You're never 100% present with your family or your kids when you should be playing with them in the pool. You're always sat on your sun lounger thinking about work and thinking about scenarios of what's happening and what's happening back at home. But what is the cost to you? Because it's the real cost I want to get to, because it's not just a few annoying phone calls here and there, is it? It runs much deeper than that. So let me spell it out to you. Number 1, you don't fully recharge properly, and you need to recharge them batteries. You need to give yourself some headspace and stop all them plates from spinning to get a reality check on where we are. But instead, you're going to end up coming back to a business with your head more frazzled, because you're coming back to challenges and issues and complaining customers and team that's done things wrong. So now you're worried about what you're going to come back to. Number 2, you're letting your family or your loved ones down. You promised them some quality time, but your head's still in your business. So you're missing out on laughter, memories, moments that you'll never ever get back because you're trading your time for money. Number 3, you're going to stress your team out because they've still got to deal with the customers whilst you're away. And now they're stuck waiting for your answers, and it keeps everyone in a state of stress. Number 4, you're risking your business. And what I mean by this is, if something serious happened while you're away and you've got no systems or processes or nobody to pick up the reins and delegate that to, it could cost you time and money to fix it. It could cost you that job, that customer relationship, and even your reputation. And number 5, and for me, the biggest one of all, is you never build a real business. You've just got a job with a fancy title, because everything depends upon you. But now, picture this instead. You head off on holiday, your phone stays in your bag, or even better, in the hotel safe. Your VA or your office manager is now handling all the calls, all the texts, all the emails, and all that communication. Your team are following a structured system and checklist that you've put in place, therefore not needing to bother you. Quotes are going out automatically, jobs are being scheduled in, and customers are updated. You come home to find jobs are completed, happy customers with more 5-star reviews coming in, more money in the bank than you left with, and you didn't even have to lift a finger. This is what a real business looks like. One that works for you and not the other way around. And here's the good news. It's not just a dream or a wish list. It's not just something that you see other people managing to do. Listen, I've been there. I was that ultimate busy fool, but by systemising, automating and delegating and getting a business that ran like clockwork for me now allows me to do what I want when I want. I can go on holiday whenever I want. You know, the first thing that goes in my default diary every single year are the kids' 13 weeks holidays, so I can have 13 weeks off, spending that time with my family. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the key systems every trades or construction business needs, some of the tools and automations that are going to save you hours and hours of time and get your life back, and how to delegate effectively so you can switch off without having that guilt feeling. Because whenever I used to switch off and I got my time back, I started feeling guilty for it because I programmed myself to be a busy fool forever. And the minute I got time back, I felt guilty that I weren't working. So by the time you get to the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what you need to do and to make sure that your next holiday, whether it's the summer holidays or the winter holidays or the Easter holidays or wherever you want to take time off for, you can actually start to enjoy it. Now, as ever, grab your notepads and your pens because I'm going to be suggesting some other episodes that you can go and listen to at the end of this one that will back up and give you even more strategy and knowledge around some of the areas that I'm going to share with you in the next chapter. One of the most common questions I get asked is, Craig, I get it and I know I need to systemise my business, but I just don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. So here's what I'm going to suggest you do before you even start to tinker with any type of system or software. And that is, you've got to flow out your customer journey. So let me explain what I mean. Your customer journey starts with a lead coming into your business, right? And that lead could come in through many different ways. It could come in through your website, could come in through a funnel, it could come in through a WhatsApp message, could come in through a social media DM, it could come in through a lead magnet, it could come in through paid ads, it could come in through a referral or recommendation. There's loads of ways in which the leads come in. But when that lead comes in and it hits your inbox, let's say, what happens next? Because there's certain steps and certain stages that you've got to go through from that lead coming in all the way up to the point where the customer actually gives you the nod on the job and they want to proceed. So what are all them different steps and stages that you need to go through? Let me give you a quick example. Lead comes in. You've got to then qualify that lead, vet the lead. That could be over the phone or through a vetting form. I'm guessing from that point then, if they pass the qualification questions, you will book an appointment in to go and see them and do a survey. Once they've done the survey, you'll come back maybe and put the price together, then send the quote, proposal or estimate out. Then once it's been out for a day or two, you might make a phone call and follow it up. Then once you've followed it up, they might say that they want to go ahead. So that straight away, there's 4, 5, 6, 7 steps there that you've got to go through just from that lead coming in all the way up to them giving you the nod that they want to go ahead. So what I want you to do is I want you to map out what that looks like for you in your business, because I'm pretty sure that what I've just gone through is not a million miles away from your business now, but you might have extra steps in there or you might do things different. Okay, so what are those steps that you go through in what I call, write this down, the before stage? In other words, before you get the job and the go ahead, there's certain things that you've got to do in your business from that lead coming in to you getting that job. And what I want you to do is I want you to write down and map out, and this could be done on a piece of paper, it could be done on your iPad, or it could be done in some software. Write this down. There's a piece of software called Canva Canva.com, which we use, canva.com, where they've got like a whiteboard and you can drag like symbols on and arrows on and type on it. And there's another one called Lucid Chart, right? Both online tools where you can map and flow out this part of the customer journey. Then once you've got given the nod on that job, there's something happening, what I call, write this down, the during stage. So in other words, during the process of that job being undertaken, there's certain things that you've got to do, certain steps, certain stages. And I put these into what we call during. So let me give you an example. My loft conversion company, in the during stage, I've already been through what we used to do. But then when we got given the nod on the job, we had to send out an invoice for a deposit. Then they'd have to sign our terms and conditions and our agreement as a customer. Then we'd have to book the architects in. Then we'd have to apply for building regs or planning permission if that were needed. Then we'd have to order materials for that job. Then we'd have to book it into our diary, into our schedule. So I'd have to organise all labour behind it. Then near at time of that job starting, we'd have to order a skip. Then we'd have to get scaffolding put up. Are you with me? So during the process of somebody saying to you, Craig, I want to go ahead, all the way up to the point where the job is finished, there's certain stages that you've got to go through. So what I want you to do is map out then on a second piece of paper or on a second piece of software, what does that during process look like for you and your business? But then once the tools are in the back of the van and you're driving away from that job, whether that's a 2-hour job or a 2-week job or a 2-month job, when the job's finished, that's not the end of your customer journey, is it? Because when the job's finished and you're driving away, there's certain things that need to kick in beyond that. And write this down. I call this the after stage. In other words, after you've drove away from that job, what happens next? For instance, final invoice needs sending. The referral strategy that you're going to offer to that customer to turn them into a salesperson and get your word of mouth referrals, your referral strategy kicks in. You should have a review strategy because you're going to need to get a 5-star review from that customer. There might be a video testimonial strategy kick in. Are you with me? All these things need to happen at the end of the job. So what I want you to do now on a third piece of paper or a third flow chart, flow out what are the stages that you need to go through at the end of every job. And by breaking your entire customer journey down into smaller bite-sized stages and steps, you probably, for the first time, can see every single thing that you need to do for every single customer. And when you map it out, you're going to be shocked. Because you do a lot of this yourself on autopilot because it's your business and you know what happens and you know what comes next. But think about what we're doing here. What we're doing here is systemising your business so that business can be handed over to someone else. So you can either go on holiday for 2 or 3 weeks and not be bothered or just take time out. But how are they supposed to understand what you do on autopilot if it's all inside your head? So the first part of all this, when people say to me, Craig, I don't know where to start, it's right, get everything out of your head. Process step by step, stage by stage, all them different stages and things and tasks that you've got to do from that lead coming in to getting a 5-star review at the end of that job. Map out everything that you need to do. And when I say you'll be shocked, you will be. Because on average, and this is only average because every trade's different, but on average, I'll be very, very surprised if when you've mapped everything out, there's less than 30 steps and stages in each customer journey. Seriously. And what I want you to think about now is, imagine you having 10 customers on the go at any one time. And some of you will have more than that. But let's just round this off to a nice figure of 10. And you've got some of them 10 in the before customer journey. In other words, they've just inquired, leads just come in, or you might have booked an appointment to go out and see that customer, or you might have seen the job and now you're waiting on pricing it and quoting it, right? But they're in the during stage. So you've got some in that during. You'll also have some customers that are in the before stage, I beg your pardon, the before stage. You're then going to have some customers in the during stage, which in other words, you've started the job. You've ordered materials, you've organised labour, you might be working on their job right now in the during stage. And then you might have some of them 10 in the after, which is you've just finished that job and now you've got to get your referral strategy and your review strategy and your final invoice out to them. Are you with me? So you're going to have different potential customers in different stages in the before, during and after. Okay? Now think about this. If you do end up with around, so in an hypothetical example, but it's backed up on facts because I know on average you're going to end up with 30. If there's 30 different steps and stages that you've got to do on autopilot and you've got 10 customers on the go, that's 300 fucking tasks. 300 things that you've got to remember because there's different customers in different stages. How on earth can you remember to do 300 different things and that's with only 10 customers in? Imagine if you had 20 customers in before, during and after. You've now got 600 things to remember. Is there any wonder that you feel like you're firefighting? Is there any wonder that you feel like you're spinning too many plates and you're getting overwhelmed and you can't switch off? It's near on impossible for anybody to remember to do all that lot in the right order, not drop the ball, keep the customer communication going and run a fucking business at the same time. Do you get what I'm saying? But some of you are doing this. And this is why you can't have any time off. You know, this sports day's just been and gone for most school kids. And there've been many of you who haven't even had the time to go to your own son or daughter's sports day. I mean, how does your kids feel about that when mummy or daddy's not at the sports day because you're putting your business first? And this is why people can't go on holiday for 2 weeks and relax and switch off and enjoy what they should be enjoying, which is the fruits of all your hard labour. You should be able to afford to go on holiday wherever you want because your business is making you profit. You should be able to have time out of your business. And if you're running a business right now and you can't afford, and I've been there, so I'm not criticising, it's no judgment because I've fucking been there. If you can't afford to go on holiday and you haven't got the time to go away for 2 weeks, what's it all for? What are you doing? Because I dare say that you have become what I used to be, which is the ultimate busy fool. So stage 1 of what I'm teaching you now, you can't systemise and automate your business and you can't delegate it to anyone if the business on how it runs is on autopilot in your own head. You've got to flow it out in the before, during and after stages so you can see all of them different steps that you've got to systemise and automate within your business. Now, in this chapter, we're going to start to work on, now we've got everything mapped out and we can see all the steps. Those steps and those stages need picking off that paper or off that Canva software and implementing and putting into some form of software. Now, I don't mind what software you use to systemise and automate your business. I am going to mention some software because that's what we recommend and that's what we teach our Growth Club members, and in particular our Inner Circle members, to use the software that we recommend because we know that it works and we know the software inside out, so we can help you do that. However, it doesn't matter what software you use as long as you're systemising and automating your business. So in this particular case, I want to talk about the before stage, which is the lead generation side of your business, because we've got to systemise and automate as much as that lead generation side of it, so that when the lead comes into your business, everything's systemised and automated. You've got automated emails and text that get triggered. You've got videos that get triggered. You've got stuff that updates without you having to do anything. And for this piece of lead management and sales software, we recommend Leadzilla. And the link to start a 14-day free trial of Leadzilla is in the show notes and description of this episode. However, just for transparency reasons, I'm going to give you another 2-piece software that will do similar to Leadzilla. Won't do as much, but again, for transparency, I'll give you a couple more. Again, I don't mind out of them 3 which one you use, as long as you start to use one. So the other 2 pieces of software are Active Campaigns, and the third one is called HubSpot. And they do some of what Leadzilla does, not the full capability of Leadzilla, but they're a great starting point if you've got no systems in place and you want to get out of the door. But in this example, we're going to be talking about Leadzilla. Now, what I would love you to do, and this is your choice, you don't have to do this. Remember, you have a work-life choice. So you choose to spend time in your business in areas that you enjoy doing. So if you enjoy surveying jobs and pricing jobs and you want to continue to do that as part of your business, then continue to do that. But ultimately, if you're relying on you surveying and pricing jobs constantly and you go on holiday for 2 or 3 weeks, then clearly at that point, there's a flaw in your business, because that means while ever you're away on holiday, nobody's doing the surveying and the pricing, which means further down the line, you're going to feel a little pinch of lack of work because nobody else has been doing it. However, systemising and automating your entire business, you can bring a member of your team in or maybe bring somebody through your ranks, and you can, with the right systems and the right training, get them to do the surveys, get them to do the pricing, all because the systems are in place to deal with it. So let me explain. Leadzilla, as a piece of software, is solely designed to take care of all your lead generation. In other words, how are we creating content? And therefore, can we have a piece of software that will allow you to systemise the creating of content? Leadzilla allows you to do that. An example of how it does that is inside Leadzilla, it's got an AI bot, an AI agent that you can simply train up, and you can connect your AI agent or your bot to either your website as a chat, or you can connect it to WhatsApp, which a lot of people communicate through, and you can train your AI bot to answer any single question that is added into that bot. So, for instance, let's say me as a loft conversion company, before I sold it, if I had that AI bot inside Leadzilla now, I could train it to say something like, if a customer says, how long does a typical loft conversion take? Leadzilla can use AI to trigger a WhatsApp message or a text message or an email or anything like that back to the customer with the answer to that question. And it can deal with every single question, from how long do jobs take, what's the best, most economical boiler if you're a boiler installer. It could be, how many panels can I fit on a roof this size if you're an electrician or a renewable company. It can deal with price. It can deal with looking at your calendar to see when you can next book a job in. It can actually book a job in for you. It can vet customers. It can do almost anything that you're having to do manually now. And then on top of that, again, helping with creating content. Inside Leadzilla, you've got a social media scheduling tool. So you could then create your social media posts and then schedule them to go out on all your different platforms at certain days and times throughout the month. So to give you a little flavour and an example of what Leadzilla can do for you to help you create content and help you nurture that potential lead, I've just given you 2 examples. But then what also Leadzilla does, it allows you then, when the lead comes in, it allows you to track the lead. Because within Leadzilla, you can build your own websites, you can build your own landing pages, you can build your own vetting forms, all within Leadzilla. So all of your marketing is kept in one piece of software. And when the lead comes in from wherever it comes in from, it can then be tracked. So you can track where all your leads are coming from and it tracks your conversion rates. So now is it not only helping you to create the marketing content, it's allowing you to take the lead into Leadzilla, manage the lead for you, create your conversion pipeline for you, and communicate back to that customer, because you can automate emails and text messages based on whatever form or whatever means of inquiry that leads come in by. And then what it'll do is it'll put that lead onto what we call an opportunity pipeline, a sales pipeline, where all these stages that we're just talking about now, all of them, let's say 7 or 8 stages that you've got in your before stage, in other words, the lead comes in, all the way up to your customer giving you the go-ahead on that job. All them stages can be added into a pipeline that you can access through your phone, tablet, desktop or laptop. So instead of you having to remember where all these customers are, did I send customer that email back? Did I send them the quote? Did I follow the quote up? Have I surveyed that job yet? Can't remember. I've done 10 surveys this week. All that lot disappears because it's all sat on an opportunities pipeline inside Leadzilla for you. And all that lot can be systemised and automated where you're doing nothing. As long as somebody's surveying the job and as long as somebody's coming back and pricing the job, all of that before customer journey is taken care of inside Leadzilla and it's all automated on autopilot. So think about this. Lead comes in. Doesn't matter where it comes from. That particular customer gets an automated email and text message thanking them for their valued inquiry. They're then taken to a vetting form and they're put through the vetting form where they ask a series of questions on our vetting forms. It's all built inside Leadzilla. The customer answers all the questions, so now you've got a pre-vetted lead. They're not time wasters, they're not tire kickers. The system has filtered those out. That lead then gets a phone call from you or your team because they've been vetted. And that lead then is, ask a few questions about the job. Do you want us to book in a survey? Customer says, yeah. All you do is you add that customer onto a calendar that then triggers an automated email and a text off to that customer with a video of you introducing yourself and your business and explaining to them what's going to be happening when you go out and do that survey. Not only do they get an email and text confirmation, but you can set it whereby 24 hours or 2 hours before that appointment, it triggers another email and a text message just as a courtesy reminder that you're attending that survey. While you're there, you can walk around the job. You could price the job up while you're there inside Leadzilla if that's what you wanted to do. When you leave, it automatically sends them emails and texts thanking them for allowing you to go and quote for that job. If you get the job, it can then trigger your automated terms and conditions that they can electronically sign to say that they want you to go ahead and they're agreeing to your payment terms. All that lot can be done on autopilot. All you need to do is use Leadzilla and build out your before stage into Leadzilla to take care of that entire process. You are now no longer having to manually email, manually text, send WhatsApp messages, confirming surveys. Did I send that quote? Have they responded back? All that lot disappears because you've systemized it all and put it into some software. So the lead generation side is all taken care of inside Leadzilla in that before stage that you've now mapped out. In the next stage, we're going to turn our attention over to systemising your business once the customer has given you the nod on the job. Now, I said that there were two pieces of software that we recommend. The second piece of software is called Systemise. It's spelled service and then the letter M and number 8, Systemise. And the difference between Systemise and Leadzilla is this. Leadzilla is lead generation and sales software, dealing with creating the lead, managing the lead when it comes into your business, and getting that customer to agree to use you and to agree to your terms and conditions. So you've got the sale, you've got the job, you've been awarded the job. But at that point, we then recommend Systemise. And Systemise is a job management system designed to manage your projects and your jobs, designed to communicate that with all the different customers that you've got on, and designed to help you to manage the labour on each job. So whereas Leadzilla's dealing with the before stage, lead generation and getting the sale, once we get the sale, we push people into Systemise, and Systemise then picks up the job and deals with the job management side and the running of every job. So that's the difference between Leadzilla and Systemise. Systemise is not lead generation and sales. Systemise is job management. So think about that during stage now, because you've got given the nod on the job, but there's certain things that has to happen in that during stage, such as managing all of that customer communication in one central place, having all the contact details for you and all your teams or your engineers or your fitters that are going to different jobs. You've got to assign a job to a team member. You know, you might have a team of 5 or 6 people with 3 jobs running. They need to be sent to the correct job. On each job, you might have documentation. For instance, you might be a heating engineer and you've got gas certificates to fill out, for example. All that not needs collecting. Then there's the communication between you, the office, the team doing the job, and the customer. And then you've got things like you get to the end of the job and you've got to get your invoices out and you've got to get paid on time. Are you with me? All that lot needs doing throughout the job, and it doesn't matter whether you're a joiner like me, tiler, plasterer, roofer, sparky, scaffolder, all that lot needs doing. And that's exactly what ServiceMate allows you to do. So what I want to share is just a few different features that ServiceMate can help you automate and systemize. And this is not the be all and end all. It does a lot more than this. But just to give you a flavour what it can help you do to free up your time. Let's look at the job management overall, because there's certain basic things that a lot of business owners get wrong, such as customer contact details. Where do you keep all your customer contact details in one central place where you or your team can access it, again, through a laptop, desktop, mobile device, iPad, whatever, where you're not having to constantly be sending and WhatsApping your team customer contact details. Oh, here's the name, here's their address, here's the mobile number, here's their email, right? You're not having to do any of that, right? Because inside ServiceMate, all them customer contact details goes onto a customer job card. You can add notes onto that job card for your team. So again, instead of you saying to the team, oh, customers left key under bin. If you're going to get there after 8 o'clock, customer left key under bin. None of that, oh, where's key? I can't find key. Just put it on job notes. You can upload photos to that job. You can upload documents to that job. So let's say you've gone to price that job and you've seen a little potential issue where you've got to get something from one place to another. You could take a quick photo or video of that problem, put it into the customer's job contact job card, and then the fitters, engineers, or whoever's going out to do that job can see that, oh, actually, there's an issue here. They've put a photo or a video in for me that I need to be aware of. Again, tracking your jobs through these different stages so that you can see the progress of that job without having to ring your team up every 5 minutes. Can you give me an update? Have you done this? Have you done that? Your team can move the customer onto different stages. So the job management side and the organisation side, instead of putting data on WhatsApp and text messages to your team, is all contained inside ServiceMate. What about this one? To make things more efficient and to save time. All your team get their own calendar, which means if they've got a number of different jobs to go to in a day, which I know not everybody does, you know, when we were building loft conversions, don't get me wrong, I used to run 7 loft conversion jobs at a time. But once we had a team on one job, they would be on there from start to finish. So they could be 8-9 weeks on one job. But you might be someone like a plumber, where you're doing emergency or repairs, or something like that, and or boiler servicing, and you might have got 7 or 8 jobs to go and look at or do in a day, or your team might have. And it's like, well, what job do I go to first? And how do I know they're going to be in? Well, listen, everybody gets their own calendar. And you can drag customers and drop them onto a calendar which notifies your team that they've got a new job to go to, or the schedule's changed, and don't go to that job first because they're not in. Go to that job. So there's no more of this, you know, your team asking you, oh, what job am I on today? Where am I going? You know, do you want me to go to that job in the morning or that one? No, it's all mapped out for you. And on top of all that, you've got GPS tracking, which means not only can you track your team to see where they are on a map, but you can set it up automatically to trigger an email and a text message to that customer when your team member, fitter, engineer, whatever, is within, let's say, 3 miles of that job, and they're driving to that job. The GPS will know that, so it'll trigger a text message to your customer saying, oh, John's on his way, is 3 miles away, and his estimated time of arrival is this. I mean, how good is that from a customer point of view? So scheduling and organising your team and your labour, you can do inside ServiceMate. Another great feature, which will massively benefit all of you, is on-site job documentation. And what we mean by this is, inside ServiceMate, let's say you're a heating engineer, and sorry I keep coming back to heating engineers, it's just an easy example, right? You could be an heating engineer and you've got a series of different gas forms or forms that you've got to fill out. that you might normally do at an evening. Well, while you're there, you can fill out specific forms. You build a form, you fill it out, and then all that information then is automatically sent to wherever you want to send it to. You or your team can upload before and after pictures of what they're doing, because your customer can get notified about these before and after pictures. It might be that you want your customer to sign the job off to say that they're happy with all the work, and you want your team to get them to sign it off so there's no more snagging. I mean, there's nothing worse, is there, than saying to your team, right, have you done? Yeah, we've done. We wrapped up. We finished. We've just tidied up. We've just got everything in van. We're done. You think the job's done, but then the customer rings you back the next day and says, well, they haven't finished this, or they haven't done that, or they haven't sealed this up. And you're like, what? And then you've got to contact your labour, your team again, and go, hang on a minute, you told me yesterday that job were done. Well, it is. Yeah, but they've rung and said that you hadn't done this, or you forgot to fix this faceplate on, or you hadn't sealed this, or, I forgot. It's like, what the fuck? Now you've got to go to other side of Sheffield, in my case, which is now costing me time and money. I've got to pull you off one job to go to another. I'm losing money. Whereas what you can do is you can set up a form like a tick list. So at the end of every job, your team go round and they've got to snag it themselves, and they've got to tick off everything to say it's been done, take photos to prove it's been done that the customer also gets, and get your team to sign that job off, or get your customers to sign that job off. Which means everything is sorted in one place. ServiceMate, making it easy for you, your team and your customers to communicate, because everybody can see what's been done and everybody's hearing it from the same place, rather than the customer ringing you telling you that they forgot to seal something up, you ringing your team up to tell them you forgot, for you to organise the team to go back, and then you ring the customer back to let them know when the team's going back. It's just crazy. Are you with me? All that can be done inside ServiceMate. Another powerful feature is literally customer communication. Because let's face it, if you're going to get a 1-star review being left, I don't think it's going to be down to the quality of your work, because I assume you're great at what you do. But when a customer has been left high and dry, or you've not responded to their emails quick enough, or the text messages, or you said that you were going to get a quote out to them at 3 o'clock on Wednesday and it's now Friday morning and they've still not received a quote, it's this bad, poor communication between you and your customers that can get you a 1-star review, and nobody wants that. Now, I'm sure you as the business owner, you will do your utmost to make sure that your customers are kept informed, albeit you might be spinning a lot of plates, so therefore you drop a few plates. But let's face it, this isn't your team, it's not their business. So their passion to keep the customer up to date and communicated by tends to drop away, doesn't it? And sometimes it's your lack of communication by the team on site or in someone's home or on someone's premises that causes the problems. So the communication through ServiceMate is amazing, because you can, just like inside Leadzilla, you can send quotes, you can send invoices, you can send reminders, you can send updates via email or text message directly through ServiceMate. So you're constantly keeping the customer updated at all these different points along the project, including, which I've already mentioned, keep notifying your customers and keeping them up to date on where you are and how long it's going to be before you get to their home or premises. Because you know what it's like. There's nothing worse than waiting in for a tradesman or waiting in for anything and then them being late or not turning up. It drives you nuts. Whereas if you've got the GPS tracking on that triggers automations letting customers know at what time you're going to be arriving. All that lot is amazing customer communication. And in today's day and age, that is exactly what customers are expecting. They're not expecting to be left in the dark by trades companies anymore. There's no need to do that. We've got all this automation that will allow that communication to be 5-star every time. And the final feature that I want to share with you that I know for sure is going to help you is quoting, invoicing and getting payments. And let's face it, it's your job as a business owner to have a positive cash flow. In other words, you've got to speed up the amount of money coming into your bank, and if need be, slow down the money going out of the bank so you've got a positive cash flow. But how many times is it where you go to quote a job and you're busy? So you tell the customer, I'm busy. Can I have a couple of days? Give me 2 days and I'll get back to you on Thursday with a quote. Is that all right, Mrs. Jones? And they go, yeah. Listen, they don't care that you're busy. They don't care that you've got other customers. They want speed and convenience. They want that quote as quick as possible. They don't want to hang about for 3 days in today's day and age. They want speed and convenience. Exactly like they get with things like Amazon and Argos, where they can get same-day delivery, speed and convenience. There is no excuse in today's day and age for any tradesman to spend days getting back to customers with a price, unless it's something like a builder building a 300 grand extension. I accept that, but for most trades, you could quote there and then, because inside ServiceMate, you can set up your own quoting templates that allows you to walk around the job and go 5 meters of them, 6 of them, 5 of them, and it's adding it up as you go along. While you're there in the customer's house, you can actually send them the quote there and then, within minutes. If they want to go ahead, you can send them an invoice there and then. You can turn your smartphone into a payment terminal and take the deposit there and then. Or at the end of the job, you or your team, when they leave the job, as long as the customer's already been made aware that you want the final payment before anybody leaves their home or premises, you can get your team getting payments for you by turning their phones, or the phone that you provide for them, which is a work phone, into a card payment terminal, so you're getting paid at the end of every job. Why are you waiting? There are tradesmen out there that I know who'll say, do you know what? I've been that busy, I ain't even got my quotes out. I need to get invoices out. I need to get invoices out from 3 weeks ago, and I still ain't done them yet because I've been busy. And I'm like, what? The most important part of running a business is getting your money in. So if we can speed up the process of you getting your money in, therefore you've got more positive cash flow. And ServiceMate integrates with software, accountancy software such as Xero or QuickBooks for seamless bookkeeping, making it absolutely easy for you to do your own books and accounts while you're out and about. So if you think about the during stage of a job, from ordering materials, organising labour, communicating with your customer, documenting everything that happens on the job, getting your quotes out, your invoices and your payments in as quick as you can, that will manage the whole process of that job. Now, again, just for transparency, we recommend ServiceMate, but you don't have to use ServiceMate. So let me give you 2 more job management tools that work like ServiceMate. Again, not as powerful in my opinion, and haven't got as many features in, but a great start if you wanted to get started. The first one is called Tradify. Tradify is a great starting point. And the second one is Commusoft. That's the second one. Both of those tools will do some of what ServiceMate does, but won't have the full capability of ServiceMate. And again, you've got to start thinking of the long-term vision of your business. What you don't want to do is start on one piece of software, really, and get used to using that to find out that you've outgrown that piece of job management software and you're going to end up with ServiceMate anyway. So what we say to people is use whatever you want, but if you're serious about scaling your business, we recommend ServiceMate because you'll not really outgrow ServiceMate as a piece of software. And again, if you wanted to start a 28-day extended free trial of ServiceMate, the link is in the show notes and the description of this episode. Or you might be using ServiceMate already, but really need a lot more work building into it to get it working right for you. Again, reach out to us and we'll gladly help you and support you with that. So let's have a little recap. You're first of all going to flow out your before, during and after stages that form part of your customer journey. You're then going to look at some lead generation or sales pipeline software that you're going to start to use in your business to manage the leads, the lead generation and the sales side of it. You're then going to look at some job management software that's going to manage the running of that particular job. Now, it's great that we go away and we systemize and we automate as businesses. And that's exactly where we need to be at. And it's not going to happen overnight because implementing systems does take time to put in place. But once they're in place and you've done it once, it'll run forever. But there's no point in just systemizing the business if you're the only person in your business who knows how the systems run. So the third part to this is looking at delegating the running of the systems to somebody long term. And this could be a member of your staff. So maybe you take on an employed admin person or a part-time admin person perhaps to help you run the systems and you train them up on how to do it. Or you might want to consider outsourcing this to a VA company, a virtual assistant company that can take your phone calls, put the customers into the system, i.e. Leadzilla, which then triggers everything off and they take care of it all. Because you can't go on holiday for 2 weeks if you're the only person who knows how the systems work. You've got to bring the delegation side into it. And if you've never done this before, it can be quite daunting to sort of like let go of your baby, because that's what your business is. It's your baby. You've conceived this business from birth. You're the one that's nurturing it and cherishing it and looking after it. So to start to think about handing the reins over to someone else to do your pricing and responding back to customers with emails and texts, it's like, how are they supposed to know what goes off in my head to start to delegate that so they get it right? And the answer to that is, let's face it, there's nobody that's going to do that as good as you in your business, because it's your business, it's your baby. But what we can do is we can bring people in with the right attitude, the right mindset to run the systems for us, freeing up our time. And if we don't start to build a team, then you're going to stay a prisoner in your business forever, because you've only got 168 hours in a working week. And if you're going to be doing everything from generating the marketing content to dealing with the leads coming in, to then going out and doing the surveys, and then doing the pricing, and then organising labour and materials, then being on the tools and doing the job, communicating with the customer. If you're going to do all that yourself, then you will stay a prisoner in your own business. The only way you can unlock that time that you're wanting to get back is by putting the trust into other people and delegating those systems to someone else, freeing up as much of your time as you can. And I've heard every excuse you can think of over years. Craig, I've tried it. My wife's sister got made redundant and she was looking for some part-time admin work and I started getting her to do things and it didn't work. Well, it's not going to if you're just going to randomly hire people. You've got to have the right strategy on how you build, grow and scale a team for you to be able to be successful with this. Or you're that control freak that has to do literally everything in your business to make sure that it's perfection and it's done right. We can't build, grow and scale a business if we're going to be a control freak forever. We've got to let go of the reins at some point. Or, Craig, I know I have to delegate and I know I could bring a virtual assistant in, but they're 20 quid an hour or 25 quid an hour and I haven't got that money. Well, listen, you're never going to free up your time to be able to invest into a VA or an admin person until you get the systems in place. And the time that you are now freeing up that they take off you, yeah, it might cost you £25 an hour, but come on, surely if you were to get 8 hours a week back because your VA is saving you 8 hours a week, surely if you got dedicated and laser focus on increasing your profit margins and not overpaying on taxes, you could get that 8 hours times 25 quid back. Or you invested that time into identifying your target market and getting the right marketing strategy to attract more profitable customers coming into your business, and you start generating more profitable leads, they'll pay for themselves. Do you get what I'm saying? And once you've got the systems and you've trained somebody else up to run the systems for you, that is when you know for sure you're going to be able to take off for 2 weeks to Florida with your family, to Disneyland, where you promised your kids you'd take them, and not be badgered 24/7 by your team, your customers, or your suppliers. Now, there is a strategy that I teach around employing the right team. In particular, how and when is the time right to bring in an admin assistant to help you scale your business? So I said at the beginning of this episode, I'm going to share some other podcasts with you. This is the first one I want you to go and check out at the end of this episode. And it's episode number 28, where I go through the exact strategy of when is the right time to bring an admin person in to help you with these systems. So that's episode number 28. I also want you to check out episode number 15, which is called How to Build a Trustworthy and Reliable Team to Scale Your Business. So once you've listened to episode 28 about bringing in a virtual assistant, and episode number 15, which is combined, is over 2 hours of training for you, you'll know exactly what you need to do and when to bring in the right person to be able to take these systems off you. And I also want to share with you one other episode, which is episode number 64. Because in episode number 64, I interview and work with Jamie Curtin, who is a systems and automations expert for trades and construction businesses. And he is the founder of a company called Flow State. And in that episode, Jamie shares with you how to systemize your business like we've just been discussing. And also the different software, which we've mentioned, Leadzilla and ServiceMate. He goes into a bit more depth on Leadzilla and ServiceMate. So go and check out episode number 64. There are so many more benefits to systemising, automating and delegating your systems in your business. It's not just about freeing up your time. For example, if you want to scale your business, and for many of you, you will, for some of you, you'll be like, Craig, I'm happy with the size of business I'm at right now. I get that. But for those that are wanting to scale, how can you scale your business if you haven't got the systems and somebody running them for you? Because I go back to what I've already said, you've only got 168 hours in a week. And if you're already busy now, doing the amount of work you're doing now, and you were to double the size of your business over the next 12 months, where are you going to find that extra time to grow and scale your business? You can't, so you need the systems to scale. Increase profit margins. Remember, when all these systems are in place and everything's running like clockwork, the amount of time that it saves you, more productive, more efficient, you're going to get more done in less time. Therefore, you're going to increase your profit margins. And that increase in profit margins, I guarantee, will have paid for whatever it takes you or costs you investment, time and money into putting the systems together. The profit that you're going to make back within the first 3 to 6 months will pay for that 5 times over. You're also going to build a system that's going to bring you in a constant 5-star service, because let's face it, when you're slack or you're not as busy or you go through one of them little dry spells, which like feast or famine, when you ain't got as much work on, your customer service and your speed of getting back to customers, communication and everything is increased and goes up, and it's far better. Why? Because you've got the time to answer the call straight away, respond to that email, get the quote back immediately. But when you're busy and you're spinning loads of plates, you don't have as much time. But once you build your systems to have a consistent, high quality, 5-star service, it doesn't matter how busy or slack you are with work, because the system is going to consistently be producing an incredible customer experience for you and your customers. You end up with a happier team, because instead of you having to babysit your team, and instead of your team having to be on phone every 5 minutes asking you what's happening and where am I going and what job am I going to next and all that lot, the systems are telling the team. So you're giving your team a little bit of leeway. The team are starting to run your business and your jobs for you, so they become more happier because they feel part of your team and you're not having to micromanage them. And another one, and the final one for me, which I didn't realise at the time, is when I started systemising and automating my construction business, which, in all honesty, we didn't have Leadzilla, we didn't have ServiceMate, we didn't have apps and software like we've got in today's day and age. So it was like 10 times as hard for me back then because there were no software. But when I did it, I didn't realise at the time I was building a saleable asset, because ultimately I built, I grew, and I sold my business. But the only reason why I could sell it is because the business ran like clockwork without me having to work in it all the time. Don't get me wrong, I could never just disappear full stop. I'd always want some involvement in the business. But that 80-20 rule, 80% of my time was my own free time. I could do what I want when I wanted, as I can now. And I've got 4/almost 5 businesses now. But I can still manage to get more done in less time running 4 businesses than most people can running 1 business. Why? Because I've put the systems in place and I'm building saleable assets. So I really want you to focus down on this episode. Because although there's lots of different time management strategies I can share with you, the number one to reclaim the most amount of time back in your business and life has to be putting systems in place. So what I want you to do is head over to our free Facebook group and community, or if you are a member of our growth club, and come and tell me that you've listened to episode number 72. But more importantly, don't just tell me what you've listened to and what you've learned. I want you to tell me what action you are now starting to take. And come and hold yourself accountable by telling us in our Facebook group or inside our growth club. If you're not a member of our free, thriving Facebook group and community, or you've not joined our Growth Club yet, you can access both of these resources by clicking in the show notes and the description of this episode. And remember, for things to change, you have to change, or all you'll ever have in your pocket is change. I'll catch up with you on next week's episode, and I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.